welcome you join us at the Motorpoint Arena, coming to you from the capital city of Wales. Yes, it's Cardiff! And a very warm welcome to our final group stage matches in the Unibet Champions League of Darts, brought to you by the Professional Darts Corporation. Here we are live on BBC Sport as we welcome the millions of viewers joining us around the world. It's time now to meet the players. Would you please welcome from Austria, a winner of a PDC ranking event and the European Championship finalists, ladies and gentlemen, the gentle Mensur Suljovic! And now, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of 12 PDC ranking events, it's Chisnall! Chisnall!
So here we go then, the players are out live on the BBC. Good afternoon to our commentary team, Mark Webster, and first up, Dan Dawson.
Well, good afternoon, and Mensur Suljovic came here this weekend to make his debut at the Champions League of Darts as the rank outsider in this tournament. Number 7 in the world, 40-1 to go and win it. You see there, 1 PDC title to his name, and even that, he had to survive 7 match darts in the final against Kim Huybrechts. He's made 1 major final. Compare that to, say, Dave Chisnall. Chizzy, a man who's played Premier League for a number of years, 5 major finals for Dave Chisnall, and 12 PDC titles in total. And yet, Mensur Suljovic, the Austrian, is the only man of the world's top 8 who is already through to the semi-finals. He knows he's going to make the knockout stages. And certainly, I think he's surprised a few people. Have you been surprised, Mark?
Not at all, not at all. I think that the sceptics have been hushed a bit now because they doubt whether Mensur belong with these top 8 players, but he's certainly proved that. And, you know, he's beaten Gary Anderson and Peter Wright in the same day convincingly. And you never know now. He's playing with a bit of freedom in this game now, and he can prepare for a semi-final.
Well, there are a couple of reasons that Mensur Suljovic will really want to go and win this game. One of them is a big load of money. But the other, it's making sure that he carries 3 consecutive victories into the knockout stages. Now, how important is that, Mark, to have that momentum, as we call it, going into the knockout rounds?
Yeah, it's important. I mean, even if Mensur did slip up here, I think he's very headstrong now. He wouldn't worry about it, but he'll want to win, and he'll want to carry that on tonight, because obviously it's semi-finals night. He's played a major semi-final for beating Peter Wright, so it won't be new to him, and I think he'll be looking forward to it. I think he'll be very relaxed.
And he certainly seems more at home. That European Championship run that he had last year, beat Phil Taylor, his idol, in the quarterfinals, beat Peter Wright, the world number 3. And against Michael Van Gerwen, you felt that Mensah had already, he'd won his final. He was just there, and he got annihilated by MVG. He only won one leg. And I've never seen a man be beaten so heavily and be so ecstatically happy at the end of the game. He was running around Hasselt in Belgium, just reveling in this glory. Oh, like me.
Yeah, touching on what you said there, I seem to remember the camera panning back to Mensah when he'd been beaten. I think it was 11-1, and you'd swear he'd won 11-1. But it was a massive achievement for Mensah, and at the time he made his first major final. I think he sealed himself a Grand Slam spot, so he debuted in that competition. So he just keeps achieving different things every year.
And he achieves an 87 checkout on the bullseye for a 1-0 lead. Mensah Suljovic picking up where he left off yesterday. 10-8 win against Peter Wright. It was a thriller of a match that. Looked like might go all the way to a deciding leg at one point. But that 10-3 win against Gary Anderson, what a start to the tournament. 6-0 up against the second best player in the world.
Yeah, he got out of the traps early, didn't he? Gary was frustrated, and once he got that lead, he was never going to be clawed back. But touching on the Peter Wright game, I think I was more impressed with when Peter Wright came with that 1-4-4 finish to break back. Mensah wasn't rattled. He knew, I've just got to hold my throw, and he just played a perfect game from start to finish in that game.
Yeah, there were a couple of moments when Peter Wright had to come back at him and tried, and Mensah Suljovic pulled out an 11-darter right after the break, and he pulled out another 11-darter after Peter Wright had levelled late on in that match. And it's those legs, those big moments. We talk about timing in darts, and that being as good a fact. It's not about numbers and averages. It's about the right shot, the right time, the right leg at the right time. And Mensah, that was a masterclass yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it was, and that's what we're touching on. This guy can mix it with the top players, and he's doing it on a rate. He's been doing it for a couple of years now. And yesterday wasn't a fluke. It wasn't, people ask me, was it a surprise? It wasn't. Yes, he was probably the outsiders have beat them too, but he's done it before.
And he may have to do it again. He's going to go on and win his first big TV title. Only 3 games. Mensah Suljovic can win 3 games against anybody in a day.
Yeah, of course you can. Well, his only PDC ranking victory was in a European tour, and as we know, the European tour is stacked on the last day. You've got to play a lot of games, so he's got the experience. It won't be alien to him, and it won't worry him.
Another 20 for double top. Just wants to stay out of the way of those first 2 darts. And he does it expertly, Dave Chisnall. 15-darter, 1 apiece.
It was a good finish from Dave there, because his darts land similar to we were commenting on Adrian Lewis's day. They land upwards, so on an 80 finish, you can block the target, but he finished that tidily. And
that's the first maximum of the final day of the Champions League of Darts, and it goes to Mensah Suljovic.
134.
Absolutely desperate for a perfect leg, this crowd. We very nearly saw one last year. Phil the Power Taylor.
The Taylor Lewis game yesterday, I think there was 2 occasions where 6 perfect darts were thrown, but unfortunately the 7th one went a begging.
Well, with the top 8 players in the world all in action today, if you're going to get a perfect 9-dart leg in a day of darts, this has got to be one of the prime candidates.
Yeah, and with it being the business end of a tournament as well, the guys are focused, the adrenaline will be pumping.
26.
If it is ever going to happen, it'll happen today.
Impressive array of fancy dress. And yet to see what Peter Wright is dressed as. He may trump the lot of those.
58. Makes you require 109.
Mensah goes back to his old favourite there.
David require 124.
Double 14.
Treble 18 it has to be. And It's not going to happen. And Dave Chisnall,
78.
you cannot let Mensur Suljovic have 3 darts at double 14. You just can't do it. Because he's the greatest double 14 hitter we have ever seen in this game.
Yeah, he rarely misses it. It bodes well for Mensur, because obviously in a few weeks it's the double start tournament, the Grand Prix, and no doubt where he'll be starting his legs.
Yeah, we've had the draw for that this morning. Mensur Suljovic will be Ian White in the first round. Dave Chisnall's going to go up against former Lakeside champion Yella Clarkson. Good title to win out the Lakeside, isn't it, Webby?
That's the very best, surely.
Chizzy's still searching for his first maximum. It is strange that we've not seen Chizzy score more this weekend. He's only got 9 to his name. Compare that to Mensur's 14, when Chizzy is you can make a very, very strong case for Dave Chisnall being the biggest 180 hitter in darts. If you look at the last 3 seasons in the Premier League, he has hit more 180s per leg than everybody. More than Michael Van Gerwen, more than A.D. Lewis, Barney, anybody.
123.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised with the way how Dave's performed, because he settled into the game really well with Peter Wright his first couple of legs yesterday, and then he just sort of drifted away from that tie, and he was visibly frustrated in the Gary Anderson game. Just things weren't happening for him. But he's got to look to try and win this game. He can still finish 3rd, and then he can kick on in tournaments in the coming months.
139.
Yeah, he's not played a lot of darts over the last couple of months, Dave Chisnall.
Oh. Let's not forget his last performance. He was a victory in Barnsley. I think he beat Richard North in the final. So, despite the fact he hadn't played for the last month, his last tournament, he was a victory. So he should have been coming here confident.
Well, Dave Chisnall now, the man under pressure on his throw, starts in the 19s, hits the treble, he'll look at 12s. Oh, and again, Dave Chisnall once again can't afford to miss the big number.
'86.
I think there Dave just been really aggressive towards the triple 12 rather than just ensuring that he gets the single 12 to give himself a shot, and he's drifted away. It can happen a lot with the 1-2-1 combo. When you go for the 11, you go for the triple 11 a bit too aggressively, and you miss the 11. But he's got a bit of a reprieve here for Mensur.
33.
Well, Mensur has missed a dart, but Dave Chisnall, a bit of a shocker of a visit last time, has cost him a dart at double. And it may cost him the leg.
25.
Because he should have had another dart there for that leg, Dave Chisnall.
20.
Problems of his own making. Mensur to punish him double. 10 is there.
And Suljovic, fifth leg, Mensur front first. Game on.
That's Mensur's game to a T there. He doesn't let mistakes go unpunished. He's always lingering around for the miss, and you know, Dave made a bit of a hash of that. His last 6 darts in that leg, and Mensur mopped it up.
99.
Not a happy man, Dave Chisnall. It has not been a successful weekend so far. He would love to finish on a high and potentially trouser an extra $5 grand.
I think as well, the $5 grand aside, I think Dave will just want a performance. He hasn't played like he can. You know, we've got a busy circuit coming up, this tour, a European tour next week, the Grand Prix the week after. So Dave can sort of pluck something from this game, and it gives him, you know, momentum going into the coming tournaments.
Yeah, certainly, and the Grand Prix is a tournament he's had success at. He made the final before, didn't go particularly well, but then again, Dave Chisnall, he's made 5 major finals, and you look at the players he's come up against. 2 times he's been beaten by Phil Taylor, 2 times beaten by Michael Van Gerwen, the other one was Martin Adams. I mean, if you're going to come up against somebody in a final, going up against some of the all-time greats, I mean, you kind of expect it, but if you made 5, you can't have a surprise finalist.
Yeah, it's a tough, and this myth that Dave misses a lot of doubles. He got the final comfortably of a double start tournament, so it's like we said, the final didn't go to plan, but
well, Chizzy is 3-1 down, but threatening to break straight back. He is averaging 100 right now, Dave Chisnall. Top cities. There we go, sticks it in the corner, breaks straight back. Important, you feel, for Dave Chisnall not to let Mensur get away from him.
yeah, definitely. That leg was vital, an instant break back, because you could see the sort of shake of the head after that last leg. So just to get himself back on track instantly, and we're back on throw now.
99.
Well, Chizzy has said this before. He feels that longer format games suit him because he knows he hits 180s with such regularity. It is only a matter of time before he finds his range and they start flowing. It is just really strange that in 2 relatively long format games yesterday, he never really seemed to just find that range, that focus. You speak to some of the rest, George Noble, for example, and he'll tell you, of all the players in the world, when the first 2 darts go in the treble 20, I think it is more likely the 180's coming when Dave Chisnall's throwing it than anybody else. Although this might happen.
Yeah, Dave is a massive scorer. I experienced it firsthand on one of the tours this year. I mean, my only quarter-final appearance this year, it was over in about 8 minutes. He beat me 6-0.
57.
Yeah, it takes something for even seasoned professionals to just look at a player and go, how is he doing that? And I've seen a lot of people pull that same face when watching Dave Chisnall.
Yeah, I think I actually said at one point when he went 4-0 up, I said to him, "You're getting on my nerves, Dave," because just every time I looked up, like we just touched on those first 2, and he was just planting them in. But that's what Dave can do when he's on form.
Well, we had 3 holes of throw to start this match, a couple of breaks, but Mensur is going to ask the question here. Chisnall is looking at one of the biggest finishes in the game, and he's not going to take it out. So, Mensur, you would think this will be a single 90.
Require 51.
Well, he can't leave double 14 anyway for his first start, so.
Game shown 6 leg.
3 consecutive breaks after 3 consecutive holds. 4-2 to Mensur Suljovic, who has only missed 1 dart at double. And we've said this before, Mensur Suljovic, he has an all-round game, don't get me wrong, but the strongest part of it is his finishing. And he is finishing like he was last year when he won that 1 PDC title, when he had a run at the Grand Prix, made a couple of big semi-finals, made that final of the European Championship. 80%, 1 dart missed. That is, I mean, that's beyond world class. It's almost flawless.
Yeah, we were just commenting, Mensur will always be there or thereabouts in a leg, so if you do make the mistake like Dave did in the, I think it was the 3rd leg, he's going to be there to mop up, and 4 out of 5 on the doubles, you can't give him those chances.
That must pile more pressure onto you as his opponent. If you know that he's there waiting and you think he's going to go out, and well, Dave Chisnall's not having a great deal of luck right now. But it's got to be harder, hasn't it? If your opponent's missing doubles, you think that I'll probably get another go here. But sometimes you just don't get that feeling with Mensur. I
think with Mensur as well, he can refocus himself on a shot. On the Pro Tour this year, playing him, he was on, I think, 96. He's gone in the 1 first dart. You think you're going to get a go, and he just tied it up in 2 darts, focuses himself. He doesn't sort of start chucking darts. He keeps his mind on the job, and like those finishing stats prove that.
Mensur Suljovic halving his score there. Exciting stuff.
58.
People getting a bit carried away in the crowd. Apologies for that.
137.
Mensur with time on his side here.
57.
He'd wanted to lay up the shot a bit better, but how prolific he is on the doubles, you probably only need 1 dart.
123.
Well, Chizzy gives himself a chance here, but Mensur, treble 20 for double 10, or a couple of single 20s for tops, and it's the former. And it is unerring from Mensur Suljovic. A 3-leg gap opened up. Well, look, if Mensur Suljovic finishes in this manner for the rest of today, he could well pick up his first big TV title.
Yeah, without doubt. Like you said, he's played in major finals before. He came up against a relentless Michael van Gerwen, but he just looks the part. He looks confident, calm. He's He never looked rattled. And again, he's just sitting the dart in the triple 20. Dave needs to get back on track here, because you don't want to be a double goal down to Mensah. He just won't let you back in.
Well, the thing is with Mensah, about 3 years ago, he decided he would give PDC darts a proper go. He'd been playing darts for a long while, and we'd seen him at the World Championship. We'd seen him at Lakeside. You go back a few years, there's footage on the internet of Mensah playing at Lakeside, wearing some weird orange smock that made him look like he'd escaped from a psychiatric hospital. And it was a strong look. Now he's got his own dart shirt and everything else. He looks like a proper PDC player. He's become that because the last 3 years he's just progressed and progressed and progressed. And I don't know if I don't think Mensah really thought he could be this good.
No, I agree with you. I mean, 4 or 5 years ago on the tour, we used to play European events as the Players' Championships, and Mensah would just turn up to them. He'd comfortably win the European Championship Order of Merit, and he'd often come to Alexandra Palace as an unseeded player floating around. No one wanted to draw him, but now he's going to be at Alexandra Palace this year. You know, what, seeded 8, 7? It's just a massive strides in the game, and it's because he's dedicated himself to the tour.
Yeah, the dedication is a real thing. He practices all the time. He goes on holiday and he practices. His wife tells him he's crazy. Just stop. You're on holiday, Mensah. Stop throwing darts.
It's tough to say that to him when, you know, look at the results.
He's already had one ball finish.
57.
Narrowly misses another. Would have been another break. Dave Chisnall, this has to go. This has to go. And it does go. Vital for Chizzy.
Mensah obviously very comfortable on double 14, went an orthodox way of triple 18 on the 82 there, leaving the ball. But obviously with the break of throw, he felt confident he could hit it, and he's still got that lead.
You know, well, only the second dart at double Mensah Suljovic has missed in this entire game, that one at the bullseye. It wasn't very far off either.
97.
Chizzy's only missed 2, but he's not had as many chances.
The pivotal leg was where Dave missed the big number, didn't he? And then he returned to an awkward finish when he had to rip 33, and Mensah closed that out.
$134.
I think as well there's this myth that Mensah's a slow player and not good to watch. I think he's just got great rhythm. He's not slow, he just does his own thing.
He will vary it, won't he? You'll see him speed up and slow down, and he has admitted in the past. He has said in the past that he will slow down on purpose if he thinks it can help his game, whether it's his own game or whether it's annoying his opponent. But he's still a very entertaining player to watch.
That just illustrates his knowledge of the game as well. If he knows he can rattle a player by slowing him down, it's within the rules, and he can pose himself, he can deal with it, and he's got the results from doing it. He plays, they always say play the ball, not the player, but Mensah will play the player if it means him getting the results.
Sometimes you can win a game of darts by other means, can't you, Mark? Sure, you've used the crowd to your advantage on occasion?
Yeah, well, I think I abused it a bit to my... in the World Champs, but it backfired on me a little bit. It was worth a try, though.
6-3 to Mensah, another double 10. 75% on his doubles.
Be interesting to ask Paul in the studio whether he ever used the crowd to his advantage.
He does have some experience of that.
97.
Fascinating to get the assets insight into that particular aspect of the game. Now then, Chiz.
135.
I'm struggling to remember the last time I saw Dave Chisnall do that as often as he's done so far this afternoon. That's what you should be doing, Chiz.
This is a big leg for Dave now, because with Mensah having the darts as well, it becomes a double break, and then obviously Mensah's won the bull as well. Dave will technically have to break him 3 times to win the game.
87.
Dave Chisnall there, he looked at the 20, then he suddenly realised that 100 would leave him a bogey number. Sensible thinking, move down to the 19s, miss it anyway. That it sums up Dave Chisnall's afternoon so far.
It's just a little frustrating game for Dave at the minute. He's not a million miles away, just having a bit of a loose start in here and there.
75.
Illustrated in that shot there, illustrated in the leg that Mensah broke him on.
Well, this would hurt. Not going to happen. Shriek of Chizzy echoes around the Motor Point Arena. Not sure, that might be his manager, Rog.
87. Dave, you require 104.
This could technically be game over if Mensah takes this now, a double break, and
96.
he just isn't missing the doubles at the minute. He's not being careless. He's punishing every mistake Chisnall makes.
Double top it is.
57.
Only the third dart that Mensah Suljovic has missed at double. Mark Webster thought that might have been an effective match point. But Chizzy stays alive. It is still only a two-leg gap. Dave Chisnall not firing once again at the Champions League of Darts. Mensah Suljovic, some deadly finishing, may get him over the line to make it 3 wins out of 3 and take a perfect record into the knockout rounds on his debut at the Champions League here in Cardiff.
Yeah, looking back at the career matches between these two, 4 career wins over Mensah for Dave, but he's going to have to pull it out of the bag when they return in a few minutes' time if he's to record his first win of this year's Champions League. If you want to get in touch with us, by the way, use the hashtag BBC Darts. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions for Paul or for Alan or for Mark, we can put some questions to them throughout the afternoon and this evening. And also, if you fancy coming to the Motor Point Arena this evening, it is going to be jumping tonight here in Cardiff. There are a few tickets available. So if you're around the area and you fancy a bit of darts action on a Sunday evening, we'd love to see you here. So I suppose Mensah, really, if he comes back out, he will record 3 from 3. Perfect going into the semi-finals.
It's looking good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the main difference between Mensah and Dave Chisnall today has been just the small margins. Chisnall has been hitting that treble 5 and that treble 3 a lot when he's switching down to 19s, whereas Mensah is making less mistakes. You look at the averages in the first 9 averages, not a lot between them, but small margins have meant that Mensah has taken his chances.
He's such a solid performer, Mensah, nowadays. He's averaging around 100 all the time. If you're doing that and hitting 15 180s as he has done, it's very, very hard to beat.
And in his mind, Paul, do you think as well, I remember Phil saying this last year, that in many ways when you're playing your third match and you know you've already qualified, it's very much about keeping the momentum going as you prepare for the semi-final and possibly the final?
Yeah, very much so. And Alan and I were talking about this during the game, that sometimes your adrenaline and nerve level is different when you know you're already there. You're not as anxious and nervous and thinking, well, I've got to get a bit of something going.
Yeah.
Here, it's just a calm, professional performance from Mensah Suljovic. Chisnall just looks a little bit more like a cat in headlights. He's panicking a little bit.
Yeah, and I suppose, as we said at the start of the programme, it is very difficult for Dave, isn't it, knowing he's already eliminated from this year's tournament, but he cuts a bit of an isolated, frustrated figure out there.
When he's missing, like the small margins you mentioned there, it tends to get you a little bit more when you've had the day he had yesterday. If he'd have won one of the games, he maybe had a bit more bounce about him, but that's missing, which is unusual
there's
from
something
Dave.
at stake. Yes, there's £5,000 in prize money, but if there's a place in the semi-finals at stake, I suppose you are a different figure out there.
Yeah, he's trying his best. He's trying to remain positive and competitive, but it's just not happening. He's missing a few times, and then that's getting to him a little bit, and Mensah's taking advantage.
OK, players back on stage very, very shortly, but let's hear from Dave Chisnall on his darting choices.
Either or, what's the score?
Dave Chisnall, Chizzy.
Double top or double 16?
It's got to be double top, straight down the middle.
Double 1 or double 3?
Tricky one. Double 1.
Dave Chisnall, you require 92. Treble 20 or ball?
Bullseye.
2 darts in hand. Treble double or double double?
Double double.
Legs or sets?
Sets.
Best of 11 or best of 21?
Best of 21.
Circus Tavern or Lakeside?
Lakeside.
Alexandra Palace or Winter Gardens?
Winter Gardens.
Premier League or World Series?
Premier League.
Eric Bristow or Jockey Wilson?
Eric Bristow.
Bobby George or Wayne Mardle?
Wayne Mardle.
Stand up if you love the dance or the very best of order?
Stand up if you love the darts.
World champion or world number one?
Both.
Check or trophy?
Check.
Little chuckle from Alan here in the studio. Check or trophy, you love that one, don't you?
Oh,
We've only had one or two going for the trophy. Everyone goes for the cash.
Absolutely, yeah. But what they always say is, if you've won the money, you can buy a trophy anyway. So
Yeah. And what did you say a short time ago? You said no one says jockey.
No one said Jockey Wilson in that, and I'm surprised. I would definitely say Jockey Wilson. He was my hero growing up.
Okay, back we go then. Just a quick reminder, 19 legs of the group matches, best of. In the semi-finals and final, it's the best of 21. Back to Mark and Dan.
Well, Mensur Suljovic, 4 legs away from making it 3 wins out of 3 in the group stages. The 40-1 outsider for the title at the start of this tournament.
He's been so prolific on throw. It's going to be a big ask for Dave. Dave needs to attack the throw now. You don't want to let that break still be lingering around when the Mensur gets to 8. You know, 8, 9. It's a long way back then. So attack the throw now.
95.
Well, we know that breaks can change games, but is it going to change it sufficiently? Because really, what needs to change for Dave Chisnall is not much. As Paul was saying in the studio, when he's missing, he's just missing the wrong side of the wire, but they're costly misses. It's not in the 60, it's in the 5. It's not in the 57, it's in the 9.
Yeah, he's close to where he's been unlucky, really, as he's not. They're not majorly wayward darts, just a little slip, but you know, they've cost him here because Mensur's game is that he jumps on mistakes. I think as well, even if Dave just pull a leg out the bag and broke Mensur back, we saw yesterday when Peter Wright did, so if he doesn't get rattled, he'll just go about his business as he has been all tournament.
Yeah, well, the one time Chizzy has managed to break Mensur, he hit straight back and broke back immediately. So, yes, you should. Suppose that'll help his maths.
137. Let's unit 107.
Big score from Dave there, but still, Mensur prolific. We'll get a poke at 110.
Double 16 it is then for a 110 checkout.
78.
Well, that's the sort of thing that's going to have to start happening a bit more regularly if Chizzy's going to get back into this game. But he's got to take his chances himself. And again, we see Dave Chisnall just the wrong side of a wire, and it costs him.
90.
Yeah, again, very unlucky. It's an awkward finish, 1-2-8. But you'd fancy Mensur to take this out. Is this the chance? Last start.
Game shot on the 11th leg.
Welcome punch for Dave Chisnall there. He'd been fancying a chance there. Last start for Mensur.
Mensur is, well, so far today, he's been very good at just firing it into the double first dart. But what he'd done there, he'd given himself the best possible chance with those first 2 darts, because although they didn't hit the target, they created a nice little wall around the outside. As a guide, as a cushion, he could just glance off one of them. He just goes merrily about his way.
Yeah, he just brushed off nicely on that last dart. Then you can tell Mensur's relaxed and well, not as fired up as yesterday. We haven't seen the famous Mensur headbutt yet in this tie.
I think we will see it before the day is over. Probably a few times. Maybe here. Oh, little jiggle of the darts.
125.
Frustrated with the last one, but he's threatening the Dave Chisnall throw again here. And again, Dave just a little bit unlucky there, wrong side of the wires. Big chance for Mensur now.
Big difference between a single 20 and a treble 20 there. Difference between a very tricky finish, the 136, and a 2-darter. Oh, that's spectacular, Dave Chisnall. Only the one maximum from Chizzy so far today, but the 177 is just as good, and it leaves double 18, which he does love. And he's going to get a go at it.
Yeah, it was a great dart from Dave there, because obviously he was frustrated on the previous visit, but he focused himself there, and you know, he kept this tie alive really, because he was under massive pressure to hit a big score then. Needs to hit the double though.
Game shot.
Second dart from Dave.
Dave Chisnall,
Yeah, a couple of very tidy visits from Dave Chisnall there, and he is just He's holding on to Mensor's coattails here.
He touched though. You'd feel he needs to make that break effectively in this leg now. You don't want to let Mensor get close because he's not one of those players who struggles closing out a game.
Well, we said that Chizzy always believes that he will eventually find his range on that treble 20. 177 in the last leg, 180 in this one. Maybe the Chizzy radar has just kicked into life because it's there again. Oh.
99.
The best start Dave's had to a leg on Mensor's throw in a long while, but look, Mensor's just with him. This is what he does, and it's my favourite to hit the leg again.
138.
It's timing again, isn't it? Dave Chisnall has started a leg better than he has done all game on the Mensor throw, and Mensor's on a potential 11-darter. And it's another maximum for Dave Chisnall, but he might not get a go at that 42. And this would be a heartbreaking leg for Chizzy, because it's 2 darts for the leg for Mensor. And it is 8-5 to Mensor, and there's the headbutt. And Chizzy, it doesn't matter what he does. Mensor's just a dart or 2 ahead.
That was a quality leg from him. It's all about timing. Mensor just knew Dave was finding the range there, but just put together a great leg.
43.
And you know, Dave will be deflated after that leg because you finally felt he was finding the triple 20. You know, a couple of big scores, but he just didn't get a chance for the break. 41 after 9 darts and didn't get a shot.
And kicks off 43. Next leg as Mensor's already almost 100 points clear. Better Chizzy. He's woken up. This is the Dave Chisnall that we know.
Good signs for Dave Chisnall's fans. He's finding that range now. It's obviously come a bit late in this tournament, but a busy schedule ahead. Plenty to prepare for.
60.
Textbook Chizzy, 180 there. Oh, this one's straight out of the Mensor Suljovic coaching manual, though.
136.
136 leaves the 125. A showpiece finish, this one.
100.
MVG Suljovic, final winner MVG, just as it was at the European Championship last year. Treble 20 for tops. Oh, sublime. Magical Mensor Suljovic, 9-5, 1 leg away from a 3rd win in 3 group stage games. And Group B, well, the world number 2, the world number 3, and the biggest 180 hitter in world darts. And the outsider has dominated this group.
Yeah, different class. Those last 2 legs illustrated. Dave sort of upped the ante a bit, but back-to-back 12 darts from Mensor. You know, he's on the brink of a victory now and a 100% record in his group.
And Mensor Suljovic's average has just edged above the 100 mark. He is on a tournament average of 100.5.
Yeah, that's just his quality. That and a good thing for Mensor. He's first on today. He's got plenty of rest before his first semi-final tonight, whether he's on first or second. So he's just got this game done with a minimum fuss, and he can look ahead in the competition now.
41.
Well, you feel that Mensor Suljovic was not ready to win a big TV title at the European Championship. Just beating his idol Phil Taylor and then Peter Wright in the semi-finals. That was achievement enough for Mensor at the time. And Michael van Gerwen wiped the floor with him in the final, 11-1. Is Mensor ready this weekend?
Well,
he looks ready, doesn't he? I mean, he's taken this group by storm. I mean, predictors would have, no disrespect to Mensor, would have probably said he'd finish bottom of this group. But he beat Peter Wright, Gary Anderson, and it's looking like he's beating Dave Chisnall, all massive names in the sport. And obviously the righty game was close, but he's beaten Dave. Well, he looks like he's going to beat Dave and Gary with relative ease.
Well, that's the thing as well. Sometimes it's great to see people dominate, but he's been tested as well. Peter Wright pushed him, and he stood up to it. And he's looking at 111 here to outscore Dave Chisnall 2 legs to 1 and finish top of the group with a perfect record. Oh.
95.
I think as well, stages, Dave's tested him in this game. We look at that leg where he was finding his range, but Mensah just brushed him away. It's the same what he did to Wright yesterday with that 1-4-4 finish. Just didn't get rattled, just went about his business, and
Mensah requires 16.
he's done the same today.
Mensah Suljovic, 8-8. The Austrian.
Game.
Taking care of business. Mensah Suljovic, the world number 7, only one PDC title to his name, has beaten the world number 2, the world number 3, and the biggest 180 hitter in world darts, back to back to back. He has dominated Group B. He will go through as group winner and face the runner-up from Group A in the semi-finals, just 2 wins away from a first PDC TV tournament. The gentle gliding through to the knockout round. 2 wins away from the biggest weekend of his darts career. Disappointment for Chizzy. Plenty more from him in the next few months, though.
Yeah, so Dave Chisnall has to settle for a £10,000 cheque. As for Mensah, he's guaranteed himself a £25,000 cheque, but he'll be hoping for £100,000 and also the title of Champions League winner. And on this performance, you can't bet against him. We've seen somebody there, I think it's a young lad there's got one of those little signs saying he wants a Mensah Van Gerwen final.
Yeah, I think that is a distinct possibility now with the incline of the Mensah form this week. The last couple of weeks he's played very ordinary, but something's happened this week, something's clicked. And I've just written this number on my notepad here, 99. That's Mensah Suljovic's wheel. That's his home. When he plays, he's 99 average pretty much all the time when he's playing well. It's alarming how many times he does that. He was only 1 or 2 darts in front of Dave Chisnall that whole match, but his timing was impeccable.
What is it then? Why has he come into this tournament looking so good?
It's very confusing for us because the last 2 weeks in Holland and Germany, where we've played on the European Tour, he looked very tired and a little bit drab. But this week he must have got some sleep because he's recently had another child, and he said that he was struggling with the new sleeping patterns. But maybe coming to Cardiff, getting some Welsh air, he might have just rejuvenated himself enough to actually get the
It is very good. It's very good for the soul. It's very good for your darts as well. OK, let's hear from Mensah. He's with George Riley.
Mensah, congratulations. How are you feeling right now?
I'm so happy. I mean, this is a great moment in my life. And a big Gary Anderson, a big Peter Wright, a big Cheesy. This is perfect for me.
You are playing here against the best players in the world. You've played 3 and won 3. Did you think that was possible?
I think I'm changed. I play well. Today I play really, really well. And I'm happy I win.
You're into the semi-finals. Dare you think about this evening? Could you win this tournament?
I think I have no chance to win this tournament. I'm happy I'm semi-final. I never think I'm in semi-final. Never.
Why do you have no chance? You've not lost yet.
I'm play okay. This is Taylor, Barney, Van Gerwen. Everybody's here.
Well, you get to go and have a rest and watch the rest of the afternoon now. Good luck tonight and well played.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Go on!
That's brilliant. Wonderful stuff from Mensah. We'll be seeing him later this evening, and we really look forward to it. That's what that means, that 10-5 win over Dave Chisnall. Mensah tops the group 3 from 3, perfect record. And next up, it's the winner takes